You're listening to Mystic Scribe podcast, where the page meets the mystic and the muse never sleeps. Today's show is Being a Writer, a journey through story, structure, spirit, and self. The journey of a writer. I'm Mystic, you can call me Angel. Let's talk craft, chaos, and the joy of creating. Thanks for stopping by. Hello. Welcome to Being a Writer. Oh, wow. So this is my first episode in my very ambitious podcast creation, and I hope that you are going to enjoy stepping in with me on this journey. In this particular segment of my programming, I call Being a Writer, and this is where I'm going to share my journey as a writer. So I'm Mystic. You can call me Angel. And what I want to talk about is the real, raw, and sometimes even ridiculous journey of writing. Storytelling, self-doubt, structure, spirit, the whole thing. Because I have found that making this shift in my life and becoming a writer, or rather stepping into and accepting that I am a storyteller, has been eye-opening, exhilarating, and sometimes all the other emotions that come in the bag of adjectives and descriptions. What I'm going to talk about today, well, if you're a writer or trying to be a writer or thinking maybe one day you might be a writer, number one, this is a space for you. This is where we talk real talk. And today I want to talk about the big question that I hear all the time. I hear this from my friends, my family, from people that I meet. Is writing really that easy? Oh, that's a good one, right? Is writing really that easy? Well, you know how it goes. Somebody finds out you're a writer and they hit you with that look. They got one eye squinted closed and the other eyebrow raised. Like, oh wow, how cute. So you just sit down and write stuff, right? No, baby. Writing isn't cute. It isn't a little hobby that you knock out in your space. It isn't something that you make some lavender tea up and light a candle and you sit down and you just play. Writing is a discipline. It is work like any other work is, especially creative work. It can be heartbreaking. And for those of us who enjoy the process, those of us who call ourselves storytellers, it's an obsession. It's starting at one paragraph for 3 hours and still not knowing if it works. It's writing the same sentence 10 times and realizing maybe that idea is not going to work for this. It's coming up with a character and realizing that they don't fit and now you have to start all over again. And even when you're halfway through a great story, and then realize, oh my God, this is that movie I watched 10 years ago I completely forgot about. Writing is a journey. Straight up. It's learning how to trust your voice, because every writer has a voice. The voice inside you that drives your prose. The muse, the lecturer, the researcher, your voice. Even when the world tells you to quiet down, your voice is always alive, burning inside your head. And look, I'm not here to romanticize the grind, but I am here to tell the truth. Writing is a craft. If you are a writer and you're struggling with the process, understand that you're not alone, that it is indeed a craft. It's something you grow into, something you get better at the more you do it. And it doesn't always feel good while it's happening. Yeah, that. Writer's block. That's real. Rejection. That's part of the package. That little voice that tells you you're not good enough. You know, imposter syndrome. Yeah, that voice is in the writer's room too. It's all part of the same formula that makes up who you are as a writer. But let me tell you something I wish someone had told me earlier on in my process. You see, it doesn't have to be easy to be worth it. Like everything else, the harder you work, the more joy and satisfaction you seem to get. You don't need permission to be a writer. You don't need somebody to tell you, hey, you're ready. It's time to write. Well, I guess you do need someone to tell you that. You need you to tell you that. And you don't need the perfect writing space or fancy MFA or 1 million followers online. Like everything else, you don't have to have a signal that it's time. It's time to start. All you need is a laptop, a tablet, or my favorite, a journal and a pen. I'm a little old school. I still write on paper. It's just one of those things that I love to do. Most important, you just need to show up. Because every time you sit down, even if the words don't come, you're building something. You're doing the work. And that is the magic. You need to sit down every day. Someone told me that mentored me some years ago. That writers write every day. That doesn't mean you're writing screenplays every day, that you're writing novel chapters every day. Sometimes you're just writing in a journal. But that muscle, that is the writer's muscle, needs to exercise as often as possible, especially if you want to keep the fun in it, because it's the fun that makes the writing. Why do it if it's not fun anymore? I guess we can say that about everything, right? I want to take a break in our conversation to talk about the sponsors. Everybody loves sponsors. This episode of Mystic Scribe is brought to you by me and the power of good oil. Listen, I don't have a lab or a fancy workshop at this point, but I do have years of knowledge about essential oils and how they support your energy, your writing, and your peace. I've put together a free digital guide that highlights oils that can help with creativity, for clarity and focus, for grounding, and yes, to bring little joy into your life. So I'm going to give you a link on where you can pick that guide up in the description of this video. You can find me on Patreon as well, Mystic Scribe, for those of you who are listening to this on a podcast. I use oils often, if not every day, as I'm relaxing and de-stressing, and then trying to get my groove, my vibe as I'm sitting down and writing. So I definitely recommend that you take a moment to breathe, focus, and enjoy a little lightness in your space. I use doTERRA oils. Any oils will do with this particular free resource. Download it, look at it, and then, hey, contact me if you have any questions. Let's get back to it. So we talked about being a writer, and I have to tell you, as I sit here and think about it, I've always been a writer, and most of us writers have always had that writer's spirit inside you. When you're a little kid, through your adult life, you've always been the storyteller. You've always been the one that people come around at the parties and listen to. You've always been the one that watches something on television and goes, ooh, I bet I could have made this episode different. And then you write some really great fan fiction. You've always been the one that played your games or your dolls or your Dungeons and Dragons or whatever it is you played and thought, oh, I should write this down. This will make a really great story. You are a storyteller. You have a journey, and the journey's not easy, but nothing is easy, right? So whether you're writing your first short story or your 5th screenplay, I encourage you to keep going, even when it's messy. As a matter of fact, especially when it's messy, because this isn't just about finishing a draft. It's about claiming your voice, claiming your space, and writing something that matters to you. Now, I started this episode with that question, is writing really that easy? And I want to remind all of you that when you're good at something, yeah, it does look easy. I mean, when I watch the Olympics and watch these athletes, these world-class athletes do these amazing feats of physical prowess, they make it look easy, right? Whether it's skiing, running, jumping, ice skating, swimming, they jump in there and they make it look easy. But when you get the chance to spend time with an athlete, or you watch a special where they follow an athlete around, these men, women are working hard to be the best at what they do. Anything that is worth doing is worth fighting for. And though you may not be outside running sprints and doing push-ups and lifting weights, you're doing the mental sprint, lift, run, jump as a writer. And the better you are at it, the more people are going to take your craft for granted. It happens to me all the time. Someone wants me to help them with an idea, or I'm contributing to a process with a group of writers, and they'll just say, or someone will just say, why don't you just write it? And I used to say this when I was in another industry, when I was a singer. You'd go to a party and you've had some kind of chips, or maybe drink a glass of alcohol, so it's not really, your voice is not really in the best shape, and people found out you're a singer, and they'll say something like, oh my God, you're a singer, can you sing something for me? And I've always found that humorous, because when you find out somebody's a doctor at a party, you don't say, hey, can you diagnose me? When you find out somebody's an accountant, you don't say, hey, can you count for me? But as a writer, we will get that question, hey, can you write something for me? So I will tell you, I want you to remember that that's kind of a compliment into the muscle that you have as a writer, when people believe it can be that easy. The respect that you will receive from the industry that you're going into is going to be grand if you're a really good writer. Most people don't know the mental acrobatics that you go through to hone your skill. And if you're just starting out, or if you've been writing for a while but you want to hone your skills, let me know. I do coach and lead some writing groups, and I would be happy to bring you into the mix and help you ignite the fire of writing within yourself. But this was the first episode. As I said, we're going to be talking about a lot of things together. I just wanted to start off with this just because I thought it would be kind of fun. We'll be diving into a lot of different things, and maybe even having some little workshops here, maybe having some guests. I don't know. We'll see what happens as we play. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. If this does hit home for you, if you did find some value or some curiosity in with this, go ahead and share it with another friend or another writer. And if you feel bold, you're ready to step into your own, drop me a comment or a DM and let me know. I mean, what's the part of writing you wish people understood about you? Do you ever get frustrated? Do you ever feel alone in the process? This is what it's like to be a writer, and this is why creative writers are so vivid in their storytelling. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. I'm Angel, and this has been Being a Writer. Until next time, keep the pen moving, even if your heart's still trying to catch up. Take care, be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.